again each and every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on Oak 93.5.
It ain't pouring, but it's rainy.
Peace to the elders, the ancestral giants. Peace to the kings, queens, and royal families all over. Peace to you, brothers and sisters. You're tuned into Oak 93.5, Africans United, Know Thyself Black Power Radio. Tonight we step into a conversation centered on the renaissance of the black mind. We remember the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s and 30s, a movement of art, music, literature, and politics that redefined the image of black people. But the Renaissance didn't end in Harlem. Today we are living in a modern black renaissance, a rebirth of culture, economics, spirituality, and technology, all converging to push our people forward with a spirit of omnipotence. And we are not alone in this mission. Alongside us, we honor the guidance of the Honorable Brother Asar Amen, founder and CEO of KCSSU.
Anakasar, a BB448, African liberation, black liberation, African power, black power. For every black man, woman, and child on the planet, we are the original people. I am the original man. I am a son of Africa. Peace to the listening audience.
Together with the vision of our special guest, Brother Yadin Elian, the universal cross-pollinator, and Brother Don, the architect. We're building bridges between philosophy and practice, between past and future. So the question we pose tonight is this: how do we strengthen the black mind, reclaim our destiny, and finish the work of our ancestors? Stay with us, family. The Renaissance is not just history, it's happening right now. Let's get to know the brothers that's here with us tonight. Brothers, will y'all please introduce yourselves?
Peace, family. Peace to the gods. Peace to the earth. Peace to the family across the four corners. I'm Don, the founder and grand architect of Street Economics. I've been on this journey for about 5 years now. Knowledge of self, increasing in consciousness, enlightenment, wisdom, and really I'm just here to help push the collective and unify us so that we could switch up the system and create a new system.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yadin Elian, the universal cross-pollinator, artist, rapper, poet, all of the above, builder, community leader, and I'm just here to uplift the community so they can flourish.
Great. Are you members of any organizations? If so, what's the mission?
For sure. So I'm the founder of Street Economics, and it's a collective that's basically all about group empowerment and inspiration. So we're honing in on all things community. A street is a path that you take to get somewhere, and over time, roads develop. So this is the figurative embodiment of us as individuals and communities growing together and using these streets so that we can get to where we want to go. And the economics part is not even just about money, it's about economy as a whole. The first three letters in the word is eco, and that's an ecosystem. Nature runs off ecosystems. Everything's connected. So we connecting the dots between philosophy, architecture, culture, finance, literacy, and all these other things that's going to help form the Renaissance that we all been waiting for.
Powerful.
Yeah, and to build on that, I'm a member as SC as well, and it's just a powerful group to get your mind right. Not only just are we big on like social media presence, but in person too. We just did a book bag drive on August 23rd. We gave away 30 free book bags to just 30 black young students, high school students, college students. And in those book bags, we put the autobiography of Malcolm X, the autobiography of Sada Shakur for the girls. We gave them affirmational poems. We gave them also gold backs to help them start their investment journey. So like a gold back is literally a gold dollar made out of gold that's backed by gold. So we put that in there for them too, just to, show them that, it's people that care about them for one. And that, if you pay attention to the signs, God guiding you to a higher level of living. You just got to see.
And peace to Joanne Chesamal, Sister Asada. and of course Malik Shabazz. Those beautiful things that y'all doing with the community right now and the youth is very important. To understand where we are, we've got to remember where we've been. Harlem in the 20s gave birth to a new image of black identity. Let's draw the line from then to now. The Harlem Renaissance was a movement of music, literature, art, politics. What do you see as the identity being birthed in today's modern Renaissance?
I think the identity is just, remembering who you are, remembering why, the what and what you need to do in order to fulfill your purpose on earth. And I think at the highest level possible. A lot of people say like, oh, the promised land or the golden age of just living. I think it's already here, because due to the resources, just due to, I think the pathway that the ancestors laid, I think we in the age of flourish to where like you can be whatever you want to be. It's no limit. It's literally like no reason like you can't not do nothing. So I think just from to make comparisons from the 1920s to now is just like they kind of laid the foundation of it's possible, and I think we build on that to like have like real empires of like from top to bottom we control everything and we not asking for handouts. Because in the Harlem Renaissance it was a lot of it was backed by white people, you feel me? So a lot of their creativity was kind of due to what their perception of what the black mind is. So, that's just the pros and cons of it. The pro is the art, to show them like, creativity and how art can really, enhance a community. But, the negative is that a lot of it was financed by white people and some of them didn't really have the best intention. But, Marcus Garvey was a part of that time, W.E. Du Bois. So it was a lot of good black minds too, just from the whole spectrum. So to parallel it back to now, I think we just pick it up into where it's not just theory. It's not just theory. It's not just in the moment, but it's literally like some that with the right intention, we can really heal a generation like forever.
You want to add on, brother?
Bro hit it on the head.
If I may, because I would really like to kind of touch on some of the points that the brother made that I think are very important. First of all, I really like what Brother Don had said in his initial comments when he was talking about street economics, right? Being out there in the streets. I think that's very important. It can never be underestimated for us to organize and get out there in the streets and reach out to our brothers and sisters and let them know that we're here so that we can raise our consciousness and understanding what we have to do as a people, like he said, to know who we are, the knowledge of self, which is the basis of all true knowledge. And as far as what Brother Yadin was saying, as far as music, the arts and how that can be empowering, right? Unfortunately, right, over the course of time, the enemies of our people, our oppressors and exploiters, they have turned what we have used as creativity and our gifts against us. And so basically what I'm speaking on is like, the dark side of, the industry, how they manipulate and exploit our young, brilliant minds and talented brothers and sisters. I'm not going to blame the brothers and sisters because, everyone's trying to fight their way out of poverty. But when we raise our consciousness and then we have a better understanding of, our responsibility to our youth and our communities by what we put out. And I want to ask the two young brothers, if they can share their thoughts, with us on, what can we do to change the negative dynamic and make it something that's positive, the way it was intended to be in the beginning.
For sure. So for lack of knowledge, people perish. So we have to give them the knowledge and the information so that they can begin to change it. They have to know that they've been exploited and leveraged. A lot of these artists, when they enter a deal, they don't really know the stipulations of the deal. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They're not reading the paperwork. They don't have the right lawyer and the right team to go over the contracts and look at distribution, royalties, and the numbers. Most people don't even know that when you enter a deal and you sign a deal, that's a loan. That's an advance. That's not your money. Right. That's supposed to go towards your tour, your marketing, your studio time, your DJ, your team, whatever. So with the lack of information and resources, they don't know that they could really be using some of that money as an investment to start investing on the side, so that they won't just be spending all the money on the cars and the jewelry and the things that look nice that's going to have to get repoed in a couple years, after the album start dropping. So that really and also on another aspect, as far as masters is concerned, a lot of these artists don't own their work. Once you sign certain deals, you lose your intellectual property. So now you're under this conglomerate. You don't have say so. You can't drop albums that you want to drop. You have to drop what they approve and what they clear. So it's taking away the sovereignty and it's taking away the ownership aspect. And it's ways to still flourish without having the 360 deal and the playing the middleman game. Like, look at Nipsey Hussle. Look at Master P. They pushed ownership, owning the masters so that they can have their royalties and that they could distribute and do what they want with them. And they still made a crazy brand and movement out of that. So I think if we just start to shift the narrative towards you can own your music, you can have full creativity, full IP, and you can still invest and keep your money flowing, then we can start to see a change within the diaspora.
Yes.
And stand on the music side real quick. I want to make a point and get a question in. Because I come from the era when my music era was, early 90s. But it was a transition at that time. Like X Clan was out, Public Enemy, Brand Nubian. You had acts, Poor Righteous Teachers. You had acts like that. And at that time, it was a message in the music. And then it kind of shifted. And, my favorite is Nas. I'm a Mobb Deep fan. But Mobb Deep, Nas, Tupac, not Pac, he was pretty more. But Biggie, the music kind of changed and it was getting us more into... play with our mental a little bit because it got us more moving in the street life at that time. Now they got music out, they playing with our young women minds now. The music out that you hear mostly now is attacking our young women. Even the entertainment, like I ain't calling no name of those shows or like that, but how y'all feel about, or do y'all see the parallel? Y'all see how it's going? What y'all think on that side?
I think, it's a very interesting conversation because a lot of it, like when you listen to the music now, it's just reality of what's going on. So like, it's their truth, so I look at it like that from the perspective of the artist, just speaking on their truth and just talking about what they live in. But, to your point, there is, it seemed like, the people that are pushing and owning a lot of these, artists, seems like they just want them to lean a certain way. We got like Kendrick Cole, but like, a lot, mainstream wise, it's just a certain message being put out, but it requires a deeper look because, like I said, a lot of them are just speaking on what they know. So like, they really just speaking on what they know, to be honest, and because they haven't been taught. So like, if that's just what they know, that's just what they know. I think we gotta just start. I think we gotta start coming from a perspective of like not judging so much and not throwing rocks. Like I was watching this one movie called The Book of Clarence, and it's this scene where Mary Magdalene was getting stoned to death, and Yeshua had came in, stopped it, and he said, if you've never sinned, you can keep throwing them. Everybody stopped him. So the whole point of that is like we just throwing rocks at each other and not understanding that we all got trauma and pain and different spectrums of life. So one thing about life is like, your dark is your dark. We all got dark and light. So like the things that they going through and they talking about, that's they dark. I think if people are aware of like the other side, which is the light, then we just teach it to them like, it's this too. You can speak on that because that's just honest truth. Like that's why I like a lot of Tupac's music because it's just the honest truth. Like it's just a truth. Life is not like always just peace. It's just not. So I think, you know, if we just look at it from like, I think just more balanced. Like, I like the music, honestly. I do. But I also don't get caught or lost and drifted into the dark. I go to the light too, cause like you gotta balance it out. So to your point, I think there needs to be a more healing approach and understanding when it comes to when we assess these artists, and two, we just start to promote balance and like not even shying away from the dark. I actually like the fact that they go to the dark and touch on it. But there's another side too that I think needs to be addressed as well, which is the positive, the peace, the community building. Yeah. So yeah, and the self, I don't like the self destruction. You know, I don't like the self destruction of like talking about killing your own.
Right.
You know, but like I said though, that people are really like living that. You know, it's like a war in these neighborhoods. So like you got to keep that in mind too. So it's a really like a deeper like conversation it's not really linear, honestly.
Right. So people definitely just still telling their truth.
Yeah.
Basically.
Really.
All of it. And the Renaissance isn't just about the music or you know, that part is not just about that part of the culture. It's about the mind also. So let's try to get deeper into the philosophy and the thought behind the rebirth. And how do you define black mind in this context, and why does it need a renaissance?
Can I touch on that briefly?
Sure.
Because that's a good question, right? And I think that it's kind of obvious, why we as a people need a renaissance, because we've been hit in the head over 1 million times with a baseball bat, and it knocked a lot of the good sense that the Creator gave us out of us, and that's not to blame us. So we have a lot of healing to do, and that's why it's very admirable, what these two young warriors are doing, and understanding on the level that they understanding how we have to resurrect, our minds, and we have to use all of our tools and all of our gifts and all of our talents, right? And music is one of them. Right? So we understand the challenge, right? And like the brother said, there's no need of throwing rocks. What we have to do in healing ourselves is come up with creative, positive music that's going to offset the negativity, because we all know that the negativity was put together and designed intentionally to destroy, our young brothers and sisters, and also play a big role in the school to prison pipeline, right? And somebody had once even termed it the music to prison pipeline, right? So now that we are aware of all of these traps and how we've been targeted, it's so important for us to take responsibility, right? And put things together so that the influence of the music industry amongst our youth is positive as opposed to being negative.
For sure. I think, like the brother was just speaking on, it's going to take like a transmutation in a sense, like turning the negative into positive. Because even when we think about the mind, the last 400 years have just been trauma, systematic oppression, deprivation of resources, murder, like war, like literally war on the mind. So after every war is the rebuilding phase, the reconstruction. And that's the most important. Like we're down to the rubble, literally, in the war. So this is the best and the perfect time to actually start the restructuring and the reconstruction of the black mind and the black nation and the family. And I think that it's key to have some type of philosophy while doing so. Like men, women, children, like we all need some type of philosophy that we can like culturally tie ourselves to, that's basically aligned with the building aspect. Like we touring each other down enough. We have somebody else tearing us down, and we tearing each other down within the midst of being torn down. Like, we have to stop that, like, for real. So, once we start to join and bring back unity with these movements and these organizations, then we can start to work on the grander architecture of building up the home, the family, the community, and the nation.
Yes, indeed.
What philosophical principles do you feel are key to strengthening the black man?
Understanding, compassion. Like, in order to, really heal, you got to have compassion. Like I said, understanding. So that's the two from my perspective, the two philosophical you know, concepts that I think our people really need to understand when it comes to the healing. Cause like Don said, you know, we've been attacked, hit on the head, you know, so like we really gotta just understand that like the battle, like we all know that though, but like when we come into these, it's hard to like practice something that you never been taught. So like I said, we keep throwing rocks. So we, in order to stop throwing the rocks, we gotta look at each other as mirrors and be like, I'm dirty, you dirty. How do we clean each other?
Indeed.
And that's, I like that you say that, because that's like the purest form of love. I think that's what we really need, love. Like love.
Right.
That's the word, because love supersedes all things. When you have love for your brother and you have love for somebody that you don't even know, that type of energy is more contagious. Like I love showing love, like off the strength. Like it don't even matter. I just like showing love and giving love, because you never know what that might do for somebody. Like a lot of people are missing that love, missing that nurturing, that caring. You know what I'm saying? Like missing that aspect of somebody actually caring about them or having some type of nurturing for them, especially within our homes, because a lot of our homes have been established with single parent households. So a lot of children grew up missing some type of love, whether it's emotional, physical, like hugs, touch, words of affirmation, and things like that. So if we can start to like supersede the fact that maybe we haven't received the love we wanted, but we can give the love that we wanted growing up,
Right.
then that would like take us a far way as well, I believe.
No, it really would though. It really would though.
Yeah, can I speak on that, brother? Essence, yes. I agree. You know, with everything the brothers are saying, right? And as far as philosophy, you know, philosophical principles, you know, like at KCSSU, where we teach our children, the philosophy of Maya, right? Truth, justice, and righteousness, balance, order, harmony, reciprocity, right? You know, and those are African principles, right? And, you know, with the main one being truth, you know, and justice and righteousness. And I think that that's a great foundation, you know, for us to build on as a people. And that first truth is understanding who we are as a people with the knowledge of self, which is the greatest truth. And I think that leads to what the brother was speaking on is love, right? Because when you have the knowledge of self, you love self. And we understand the self not to be the individual self, but the universal self where we all connected. So when we raise our level of consciousness, that frequency helps us to understand automatic I am because we are therefore I am. Right? I love my brothers, I love myself, I love my sisters, I love myself. And I think that in order for us to raise our level of consciousness, to be able to express and display that love, it takes us remembering who we are as a people and our divine values and principles that our ancestors set thousands and thousands and thousands of years and was able to sustain and maintain high civilizations, contributed to world history and world civilization with the knowledge and wisdom. That's the foundation of all wisdom. So I think that, you know, once we understand who we are, we start to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves, because we understand that the enemy has intentionally and deliberately made us to feel like we are an inferior people. And that's one thing that we're really fighting. In order to combat that, it's going to take the knowledge of self, and it's going to take, like the brother said, love.
For sure. And actually, I want to add on to that real quick. For anybody out there that's listening that want to figure out, how do I learn more about myself? How do I know myself? The first thing you can start with that changed my life was looking up what your first and last name mean. Look up the origin and look at what your name mean. A lot of people don't even know what their name means. And your name is your nature. And once you figure out your name mean, it like gives you a different type of like embodiment and power, because you know who you are. In the beginning was the word, and the word was made flesh. So once you figure out that word of what your name mean, you can start to embody that and walk around as that and change the reality how you need to know thyself.
Yeah.
That's really good, brother, because you know, in the African traditions, in the 9 parts of the spirit, right, one of them is the name, and it's called the man, right? Because your name, you know, it gives you power, or you give your name power, you know, any way you want to look at it. So, you know, and those are attributes, right? And that's the thing about, you know, in our traditions, you know, we just ain't get no name just to get a name that didn't mean anything.
Right.
Our names had, you know, spiritual meaning and meaning in general.
Right. And I like to agree, first of all, with compassion and love. Yeah, both all coincides with my and that is a major role in healing, emotional, mental, and generational, for all that matters. And but anyway, from thought comes expression through music, art, as well as through education. These are some languages of our Renaissance. Art and music have always been powerful weapons. How is creativity being used strategically today?
Repeat that question one more time.
How is our creativity being used strategically today?
Like from a perspective of our people, or
Yes.
okay, how is it being used?
Strategically, yeah.
I think what we doing, you know, using AI. Like I do a lot of AI artwork, and well, at the time I didn't even realize, like, you know, I was really healing myself through the writing raps, writing poetry, and then I pair it with like AI artwork too. So I done wrote poems to my girl, put it behind AR artwork. I wish I would have brought so y'all could see. I can show y'all some pictures, but I wrote poems with AR artwork to my mama. I gave him one, to my father, to my grandma. So just like now that you said that, I think even that is like healing, you know, writing,
definitely.
showing that, you know, making them feel seen. Like I see you, you know what I'm saying? Me being able to express it through writing, because it's kind of hard for me to express it through like verbal, but I can get it out through writing. So like, you know, yeah, I think intentionally just like healing the black mind, really.
True indeed.
Yeah, I want, you know, him to speak on it from the architect perspective, though, how he doing it.
Word. So creativity is just like, that's our natural instinct, right? Like as gods, as sons of gods, daughters of God, like we already have the co-creation spark within us. So creativity is what we use to form these nations and to build the architecture of the mind and what we want to see around us. So like the bro doing, we creating the reality that we want to see, right? We tired of the destruction, so we creating righteous realities where we're pushing positive messaging within the propaganda that we pushing. So he dropping the poems that speaking the love, the wisdom, the might throw some esoteric stuff in there, like some keys in there, you know what I'm saying, so that you can remember thyself. We pushing designs and new designs and new terminologies that's righteous, like chase the vision. We chasing the vision. We entering the tunnel. We climbing the tower. And we're coming up with these philosophies and these trendy words that's lingo. Like, you know how people hit the block and they say certain lingos. We got righteous lingo that's also sparking ideas in the mind. Like, oh, what does chase the vision mean? Like, what does climb the tunnel mean? What is, or not climb the tunnel, but enter the tunnel? Like, what does that mean? It's all showing the mirror of remembering self. When you enter the tunnel, you going into the deep, dark abyss. You going into your darkness to find the light. When you climbing the tower, you're climbing the degrees of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and you climbing up the ladder of ascension so that you can shine bright like the light on the mountain. So we coming up with the cool way of things that was probably forgotten or misconstrued along the lines of like religion and canon. So we just bring in fresh perspectives to the culture for real.
Yeah, and I want to add on to that. That goes back to the point where I said about like the music, like he said, bring you to the dark to rise you up. Like that's, you know, intentionally you like through my writing, it's not just all rainy and it's not just rainbows and sunlight. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you the darkest parts of my mind. I want to show you that to show like I think like that too, black man. You know what I'm saying? I have some of the darkest thoughts too. But like I want to show you that I'm standing tall, head high, chest out, and that, you know, I want to, you know, leave a legacy behind. But I still walk with the flaws too, because like even when you read the Bible, Noah had them. He was a drunk. You know, he cried out to God. Jesus would cry out to God. He said, "Why have you forsaken me?" Muhammad. That's why in the Quran, it's a verse, chapter 93. It talks about God's telling him like, "Oh prophet, do you not remember when you were an orphan and like I saved you?" So like Muhammad was in a moment of despair. He was wrestling with himself. He was wrestling with his demons. Like, God, I feel abandoned. Like we all go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a human. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we have multiple ranges of emotions. But how do you not dwell and lose yourself? You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, like, it's it's bad, but it's not bad, if that makes sense. Because you got to learn how to accept the bad to get to the good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to also build on his point about like remembering, in Islam is this statement called zikir. And that's when, you know, that's just the whole point. Like when you pray and you submit, when you pray 5 times a day, you submit to the will of Allah to remember. You know what I'm saying? That's the intentional design of it. To remember yourself and to remember the mission that God gave you. It's discipline, structure, to implement into your life to remember. Because that's what it's all about, because we don't know. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm learning to know, and I want other people to know.
Yeah.
But like as a community, I can just see the drifting. You know what I'm saying? Napoleon, it's a good book. If you want to get your mind right, it's this book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And he talks about the non-drifter versus the drifter. And I was a drifter at one point, just lost. You know what I'm saying? Just lost within myself. You know what I'm saying? Looped in a cycle of self-destruction and self-hate. Yeah. So until you know, just even think of that light exists. You know what I'm saying? And learning to forgive yourself and knowing that, you know, like God really put you here for a reason.
Yes.
You know, you can use that to not only heal yourself, but heal other people. That's, you know, that's why, you know, I go into the music and the writing, because I realize it's just bigger than me. Like, I'm not just doing it for me. There's somebody else who suffers some of the things that I suffer from just the lack of feeling of self. So, like, when somebody can hear, like, oh, he went through that too. Like, oh, snap, he felt like that too. I don't feel alone. Because we walking around thinking we just carried this, we only carry that problem. But, like, we speak up, like, dang, you went through that too?
Yeah.
Like, you know? So, yeah, I'll end off like that.
Yeah, and to your point, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, man must go through all walks of life to know his strengths. In what ways can we reclaim or redefine education so it serves liberation rather than assimilation?
I think just being intentional, like just being very intentional. Like for example, my girl, she's a school teacher right now. And what I did was I create a poem for her classroom to help kids, like, you know, think better. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the school system, it's not really designed to heal, you know. But, I mean, they have therapists, but, like, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, I just recognize, like, you know, okay, she's a teacher. Like, you know, yeah, it'd be great if we have our own school, but we not there yet. So what can I do to help, you know, push a certain narrative with the students? You know what I'm saying? She's doing great things with teaching them financial literacy, you know, teaching them certain things that help them know that, you know, you can be somebody. Because, like, the reading rates, you know, for a lot of our kids is not good. So, like, you know, there's some foundational principles that got to be addressed here. And I think that we should honestly pour more in to our black teachers that's teaching these black kids. Like, they have them, you know what I'm saying? They have direct access to them. But we can kind of overlook that by thinking, oh, we need this. Like, we got to work with what we have first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They, with these kids, and a lot of teachers suffer from lack of resources. You know, they got to do a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should do more going into the schools. That's what I was doing in college, like mentoring kids and helping them read, aiding some of the stress off the teachers and teaching some of these kids just the foundation. Because if you not, that's why a lot of these kids crash out, because they can't read. You know what I'm saying? You can't read Oak 93.5. You know, your mind ain't going to be right. You know what I'm saying? You can get easily swayed into destruction. So, you know, just to go back to the educational piece, I think our community just needs to, like, looking from the lens of, like, all right, what is education? Education is just teaching. You don't got to be a teacher in the school system. You can, that means teaching yourself, then teaching the kids that's in your neighborhood, having more of a village mentality, going, working with the teachers, seeing what they need, and just fitting in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see. Just being more, working with what we have to get to where we need to be.
Brother,
disagree with that. Go for it.
If I may, yeah, because the brother is exactly right when
Yes.
he say that we have to work with what we have, right? And we also have to be honest about the Department of Education and their inability to educate anyone, to be honest, because like the literacy scores throughout over the last 100-something years has been dismal. They have a responsibility too, but we do too. And I feel like when it's education, we have to understand, because we talked about philosophy, right? And we got to understand the curriculum that this education system is up under, which is a European curriculum, right? Which is Western philosophy and Western psychology, right? That's why it's important for us to have organizations like these brothers have, and like what we have at KCSSU, to teach the knowledge of self, right? Because the knowledge of self is the basis of all true knowledge, right? And like Dr. John Henry Clark said, the primary use of education is to how to manage power, how to handle power. So we have to understand that we have to educate, for liberation. It has to be education for liberation and power. Unfortunately, in this country, it's been something that they had prepared for us, the school to prison pipeline, when so many of our young brothers are locked up and stuff like that because of a inability to read. But one thing we know, because everybody that's on this show right here, we're literate and we can read. So we know that our children are capable. So there are a lot of factors, a lot of battlefronts, a lot of battlegrounds that we're on that's, keeping our children to be able to reach their full potential. That's why we have to organize and understand that at some point we're going to have to stop talking and start building these schools. I know we do our things on Saturday, with our Rites of Passage program, but it takes more than just a Rites of Passage program. It takes things in the community where we're having workshops and we're building not only with the children but the adults as well, but we're teaching them things that's going to be useful and beneficial for the children, the adults, the family, and the community. So when we're talking about education, it has to be an education for empowerment of the black mind and the black man and woman, not education so that we can go and serve the white people's agenda.
True. But with the education, of course, it stems back to working with what we got right now. But like we do on Saturdays, we also got to lay a foundation before they go into those buildings or institutions, because they are passing new laws yearly to change how they do teach in there, being like we spoke on before, the Senate bills that was passed not too long ago, 227558. But how do we ensure our narratives in media and entertainment reflect our truth instead of, and not distort our truth, using the media such as, or entertainment such as the new platforms like AIs or...
Really, it's just, I think that's something that's very interesting, because with this rise of AI, a lot of misinformation is being distributed. So I think that's time for us to control the narrative. And we control the narrative by pushing our own propaganda, pushing the facts and the sources that we know is correct, so that people won't be led astray, right? Like if we all wandering through the wilderness, then like we have to be the shepherds for the people that's wandering in the wilderness, because they're seeing all this misinformation and all this false news or different types of propaganda that's making them feel sad or making them feel like there's no hope in the world and everything's crashing and they're not going to live long and stuff. We have to start to re-engineer these different narratives and push like a positive agenda. And that's what we're doing with Street Economics right now. Like we pushing the narrative of mindset, of financial literacy, of know thyself, of science, spirituality, like even the nitty gritty of things. Like we really covering a lot of areas, even the education, because like we just spoke on, the education is making us become workers, right? Like they're making us, like the school system is creating workers, not leaders, not managers, not builders, not owners. They're not even teaching us trade,
Right.
which that builds economies. So with the education aspect, we have to control that narrative as well. Like you can go pick up a trade. You don't have to go to college. Like college is cool, but what are you going to do with that degree? Because a lot of people have degrees and they still can't enter the workforce. Now what? They just spent 4 years. They just racked up all this debt. Now they feel like they don't have no hope because there's no alleyway that they can take. Well, that's where we come in and control the narrative. Hey, you can go to trade school.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can start a business. You can start a company. You can do these different things. So, like, I think really just helping, like, each one teach one. We push the propaganda. We control the narrative as much as we can. And eventually we'll like, make it spread. It just takes time, really.
Yeah. And trade, I speak with the brother all the time. Like, we got to get some trade programs in
Yeah,
line.
for sure. I'm down to help contribute, and, like, whatever I could do, just let me know.
Right. So education should be fashioned to be self-sufficient as a people.
For sure.
And before, real quick, I want to say, I heard the brother speaking on his creativity in them poems. Before we leave it there, I would love to hear some of your stuff. And I know you got some stuff also. Remind me to, display it.
All right, gotcha.
Yes. And Brother Yadin spoke earlier about the Harlem Renaissance being funded, how they was funded earlier, but we know no Renaissance can stand without an economic backbone. So let's talk about some wealth unity and building, like in building our own type of institutions or whatever. What kind of strategies do you see for cooperative wealth for our own selves and being self-sufficient?
I'll let him. He cooking. He gotta talk.
So boom, like, street economics, like, we the way, right? So we big on group economics, cooperative economics.
Yes.
We, like, I can honestly say that almost every member or every person that has something, like, to contribute or some type of product or service, we have either supported it or had it circulate within the community.
Yes.
Like, when we spend in street economics currency, like, which is real money, but I'm calling it currency for the sake of group economics, it's circulating within us before it goes anywhere else.
True.
If we look at statistics, all these other cultures, their wealth circulates like 30 times, 90 times before it leaves the community.
Yeah.
The black dollar leaves the community faster than it gets to the community.
Ooh.
So what we imposing is the foundational principle of spend with the circular economy of your friends, your peers, and the ones around you, and then you can go outside. And not only are we talking about the spending, we're talking about the producing, right? We don't want to just be consumers. We want to be producers.
That's right,
Do you have products? Do you have services? Do you have education? What can you contribute so that we can build our own capital, right? We big on our own capital. And we also have a treasury as well. Like, we have a group economics treasury that we're working on right now, fully decentralized. We contributing, we building up. You know what I'm saying? We almost touching 4 or 5 figures. We really just, like, basically we have to do, right? We have to show action. Like,
That's
people
right.
can talk group economics all day,
Right.
but then they be like, all right, where's the proof? Okay, we got a treasury. Okay, we can show you the resources that's circulating within our community, and that gives people hope, because if they see that, oh, it's somebody like me building a bank, building a treasury that's helping fund the communities, it's like, all right, we start the program that Renaissance of the Black Mind the right way.
Yeah.
That's
dope.
beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, real dope. I see a lot of parallels with my own self, like from about the both of y'all, because like I used to I express myself through writing also, writing I used to write lyrics. I used to think I could rap a little bit. But yeah, that all that type, I express myself through the arts like that, and I also been trying to move through. So how do we bridge the gap from the elders, the statesmen, as myself, a little older than y'all, and even youth under y'all? How do we bridge the gap to sustain economically or culturally?
I think like what we doing right now is a great example. Like, I want to give a shout out to Brother Asar, because he's always like just believed in me for real. And that means a lot, because like I said, well, we spoke on this off camera, but like a lot of elders will put their fear onto you and tell you like, oh, you can't do this, or you know what I'm saying? So I think from the top to bottom perspective, like I said, I'm big on just understanding, like knowing like this 5-year-old kid might have something that I don't, because one of the lessons I take from my father, he said I taught him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I taught him things. I made him more self-reflective. So like, you can learn from children.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I can learn from the elder can learn from me. Right. But when you get into a mindset of, oh, I'm older, shut up, you ain't got it. So I think but there's some nuances to that, because the elders do got wisdom. but we got fresh perspectives.
That's right.
So it's a balance. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But when you so stuck in the past and you not present in the future, then when this new perspective comes, you like it's so foreign that you kind of like you just shut it down. So I think bridging the gap is just knowing that we can all learn from each other and that we can flourish together.
That's right.
Yeah, true indeed. Anybody want to add on with that?
Bro, hit on the head. One hand washes the other, man. We just have to work together.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I'm big on, man. Like, especially growing up, I seen so much division, bro. I seen so much tearing down in the community. Like, I witnessed it with my own eyes. Like, brothers going against brothers, cousins going against cousins, families going against family, bro. Bro, we have to dead all of that, like, for real. And if you on that, then you can't be a part of what we building. Like, we creating a new gate. We already being gate kept, but we're gonna create a new gate so that we won't get destructed when we creating these new systems and creating this new golden age. Like, I think that's something that's very key because it's gonna be sad persons that come try to tear what we building down, but we not worried, you know.
Yeah.
Can I add on?
Nothing
Yeah,
stopping.
Because really, that's really good. What everybody said as far as bridging the gap, between the elders and the youth, right, and everything in between, right? Because we're all familiar, what they talk about, the Willie Lynch letter and how, it was deliberate to keep us separated. So, just like the brother spoke on earlier, how we have to be intentional in what we do and deliberate about unification, about unifying. And, and I always go back to the values and the principles and, philosophy because it's so important. And when we get back in tune, with our original selves, our original mind, because like I said earlier, we've been hitting the head a million times. Yeah. So it takes work and it's a healing process. But once we start to understand who we are, the knowledge of self, through our values and principles, learning to control our thoughts, control our actions, practicing good speech, watching the words that come out of our mouth so that we pushing out good energy when we meet our brothers and sisters, right? And because when you push it out, that's what they're going to receive. But if we're talking in a negative way because that's the only thing we know, and then, that means that what we have to do is intentionally, try to do something to raise our consciousness. And that's why organizations like, what all of us have is so important so that we can reach out, to help our youth, to help our people, because we need help, more than anything because of historical, occurrences, historical events. So, it takes strength and it takes power and it takes the knowledge of self and it takes knowing that as a people that we're second to none. We have to know these things, not just think and believe, but know and, like the young brothers that spoke earlier, put it into action.
Right.
And we got to know that we already won.
That's right, bro.
That's why I don't trip. Like,
That's
I'm
right.
good. I can laugh. We can kumbaya because it's like we already won. So we ain't got to trip. Just let things happen. Let's keep building, and we already won.
That's right.
And I must state this that it was a town hall meeting. I saw Brother Yadin up there. He was speaking, and then when Brother I was just speaking on say young warrior. I love it, right? The fire that I heard, and then he was like, "We got a chance for him to come on." I said, "Man, that's a no-brainer." What do you mean? Yeah. Right? So anyway, our ancestors built with tools of their time. We have new tools. Technology, digital platforms. The question is, how do we use them for liberation instead of oppression?
I just think, like we've been saying, just the intention of higher thinking. Like, this is what exists. Like, we want to build ecosystems to where, we are in a safe conglomerate. Like Black Wall Street is coming back. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, we building towards that. You know what I'm saying? That is very possible. People, are afraid to, to even attempt to, build communities. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Just for anybody that's listening, like, you can build a community. Don't overshare your plans, but you can build a community. So I think just putting that intention, planting those seeds in people's mind, like, you a leader. You know what I'm saying? Creating some AI artwork, creating technologies, using TikTok, to really push certain messages. Like I said, music, use poetry, use painting to push certain messages. Radio stations, you know what I'm saying, to push certain messages. Like, just knowing first, before you can do that, you gotta heal. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you can even know. So you know what I'm saying. So I think once you done healed, you know, then you get to the technology, and then you be like, all right, how can I? Because then you'll be intentional, because you out of the dark. You know what I'm saying. So you can see the light and start putting some intention and meaningful messages behind. You know, whatever your creation is. Like, look at Bob Marley. Like, look at what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a very, like, it kind of gets overlooked, but, like, he was really healing through music.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and his music still gets played.
Oh, wow.
It be in cars, cookout, and, like, when you hear it, like, everything's going to be all right. Simple, but, like, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But we kind of overlook that a lot, but, like, you know, that just goes to show, like, with the right heart, you know what I'm saying? Like, will bear the right fruit.
Yeah, true.
Can I
Yes.
speak on something? Because we talking about building communities, right? And how we know what we can do because we've done it before. You know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and many other places. You know, Black Wall Streets, right? And the brother Yadin, he went to another event that we went to that the Alphas had, right? Something about youth violence in our communities, and everything, like, and I just think that when we're talking about healing, it's so important that we keep, everything in perspective, and that is, what are we healing from? Like, we're healing from the abuse and oppression of others, right? So we gotta always keep that in point, in our mind. Right, and we also got to understand, when we build, what did they do? They came and they did what? They destroyed, they murdered, and they killed. Right? So, it's one thing for us, to delve into what's natural for us, which is the arts and music and culture and all these beautiful things. But, through history, it teaches us how we have to put protection on ourselves and how we have to defend ourselves and defend what we build and defend our families and communities. And I want to ask the brothers, basically, what would you, recommend or suggest that we do so that we can put the protection on ourselves so that we won't be discouraged? Because, you heard that day when we was at that meeting where the brother that was on the panel, he said, well, when we built it, they came and tore it down. So he was suggesting that we don't build again. And my point was, we can't let that stop us from moving forward. We can't let fear stop us. And I just want to hear the brothers' take on that.
Yeah, I mean, on a simple level, like, I mean, protection, like, when you go to the club, they got security. So, like, anything that holds value in your mind, you're going to protect it. So just hire the right people. Security, when we got, when we have, when we even just have events, you got a farmer's market, have somebody watching over the children, because the wicked spirits exist. Like, somebody just want to take vultures. Always have exist, always will. So it's just like, you just got to be protected over that. Some that you hold value, just got to have the right protection. Security, simply, just security.
Yeah, and it really don't take much. Like, I just got back from Guatemala this week, really, like yesterday, I think. But it's crazy because everywhere you go, it don't matter if it's a Burger King, a bank, supermarket, it's a couple of security guards outside with a shotgun walking around the parking lots. And, like, that itself make you feel safe. And if somebody was on some type of funny business, it makes them not even want to try, because you seeing these people militant, double pump shotguns, ARs out the pickup truck. You like, I'm chilling on that. Like, it make you not even want to approach it. So, like, we definitely need them type of protocols and procedures where we have a couple armed guards or we having people that's really moving militant and being vigilant, because one thing I'm big on is operational security.
Right.
Like, knowing where you're at, knowing what's going on in the room, like who's in the room, who's in there and exiting, like watching your mirrors, like, are you being trailed? Are you being, like, all type of stuff? Because, like, out here, bro, it's really dangerous. Like, not saying, like, watch out for danger, but you have to be, like, aware and know that it's stuff out here that might try to get you, especially when you're doing something great. So, like, I think the physical important, but also I play in the spiritual realm a lot, and I know for a fact that it's spiritual wickedness in high places. So you got to be spiritually protected too, because when you moving with spiritual protection, ain't no weapon form gonna be able to prosper, and if it is form, it's gonna jam. So like, playing in the spiritual, like grounding yourself in your creator and your spiritual practices, making sure that you girded up at all times, like, you gonna be straight.
Yeah, Elwood Scobie talk a lot about that Haitian Independence War at that time. And he speak on how they used the spirits of their ancestors to help guide them throughout that war or whatever. I want to ask, how do we inspire young people to see themselves as part of this movement, or part of, this Renaissance, this new modern day?
Can I say something right quick? Because I'm not the youth anymore. You know what I mean? I'm a little older than the youth, but I work with young children.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 5 through high school and things. And that's a good question, because I want hear the brothers take on that as well, because I realize and I understand just how important the youth is, because I understand after being on this planet for so long how fast time goes.
Yes.
Right? I know 10 years is nothing. Right, I know it go in a snap of a finger, right? So, I know the importance and the value of giving the children the right knowledge so they can grow up with the right knowledge to pass it down. Because, we really still just, coming out of being enslaved as a people, 160 years, just a few generations. I just did miss it. I was born in 1965, 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. So when we look at things like that, right, we understand that we have a long way to go, because we was enslaved for over 300 and something years, but yet haven't been so-called free but 160. So, it's been all kinds of games played with our minds, our spirits, and our bodies. And that's why it's so important for us to give the youth our ancestral knowledge and wisdom, the knowledge of who we are, Sankofa, going back and understanding how we contributed to world civilization and world sciences and humanity, right? And I think that, a lot of times we don't even understand we the original people on the planet, right? Because of, things that have been done to us, and really just taking our consciousness and giving us a false consciousness, right? And the only way that consciousness is going to be able to grow is through the truth that we receive on the knowledge of who we are as a people. Because if we get the knowledge of the Europeans, we're going to be acting not like the Europeans, but the way they want us to act, which is being in a subservient and subordinate position. So I think the earlier we can get to our children, the better. I would love to hear strategies from the brother, because, like I say, I used to go on the college campuses, and I used to be able to really get around and recruit and try to bring people in. My vision was a little better then. But I think that we really need to be able to attract the youth like the way they was attracted in the 60s for revolution and change. And I think that that's very important. Revolution, you look at what's going on in Africa and the youth movement that's going on over there, all over Africa. Yeah. Kenya, Burkina Faso, South Africa, just about the Congo, any country that you can name, Mali. But it's so much going on over there where their awareness and their consciousness is more intact, more in tune, because they can see it firsthand. Unfortunately, over here in the diaspora, sometimes we think things that shimmer and shine, we think it's gold, but it's false gold. And I think that it impacts our youth in a different way. So I think that, I would love to hear their ideas on what we can do to really attract the youth and pull them to this side instead of the other side.
I think just like you said, going to college campuses, going to the schools, like just showing up where they are, meeting them where they are, and to providing them something different, and keep being consistent with that. True. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like when we did the give back, like more things like that. Like people remember things like that. Like, oh, he gave me a book bag, and like, oh, he gave me all this stuff in it, like for free. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, just being more consistent with showing them like there's a other side of life, meeting them where they are. Like I said, in the schools, keeping in contact with them, going to the juvenile sites. Like people people be complaining, but they won't go meet them and talk to them and go spread the right seed. I mean, you're not gonna change everyone, like when you read Noah's story. He was building a boat, the ark. People wasn't listening. You know what I'm saying? They drowned. You know what I'm saying? So that's a unfortunate because it's like you can't save everyone, but that shouldn't stop you from like continuing the mission. So definitely just meeting people where they are. Right. And just providing them what they need. Everybody's different too, so you gotta know like who you working with. Like, all right, this person might need this, he might need this, he might need this. You know, I think, you know, we gotta have that intention in mind, cause like I said, we so divided on a lot of things. Like we don't even see that we really relatable. Like we gotta really just get back to like simplicity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, just meeting people where they are, bro. Like the juveniles, even people in your neighborhood, talking to people, putting them on game. The schools, parks, you know what I'm saying, colleges, and just showing them something different, just being consistent with that, so like people can know you for that. Oh, this is the guy that, you know, he cares. That's why the Black Panthers were successful, because people saw that they cared.
True.
That's real. And like I like what bro was saying, because it's like after we do that, then we make the culture cool again, because we showing them a different way of operating. Like, because the cool things in the culture right now is destructive. So we have to push things that's making the culture great again, like making health cool again. Like it's cool to wake up and get a smoothie and eat a salad.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like drinking water. I like coconut water. Like we push wellness game. So we making wellness and eating healthy cool, because who don't want to live long? Like the expectancy rate for, I think, black males like 50 years old. Like, and I'm 26. I just turned 26, bro. 23.
Yeah.
Like they trying to tell me that
I'm
I live half my
I'm
life.
halfway there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah, bro. Come on, I ain't hearing that. So we pushing wellness so that we can live long, and then we making finance cool. We making assets cool. We not flexing liabilities. We flexing assets. We got
Talk about the gold backs.
Yeah, gold back, man. Like, hey, to all my youngest, man, get you some gold backs, bro. Like this is the play, because gold. Just to get some brief history, the Federal Reserve was created from the gold standard. So they had gold deposits, and they started creating Federal Reserve notes from that. So gold is always recognized as legal tender, and it's always at an exchange rate. In the last year, gold has been up almost $1,000 and more, but it's becoming more scarce. So macroeconomics 101, supply, demand. So it's going to be a more grander demand as companies, and not even companies, but just countries, buy more gold. So like, get you some jewelry, bro. It's cool that rock jewelry, because worst come to worst, you can sell it, bro. Like get some gold backs, because it's a store of value. Now we can transact with gold backs. Yeah, don't bust it down. Like the diamonds kill the.
Don't bust it down.
Diamonds
Wait,
take
man.
the value down.
Yeah, diamonds take the
Wait
value
a
down.
little bit, man. Wait a little bit.
Yeah,
I
like-
know you want to shine. Just wait.
Just wait. The
Start
gold
off
still
right. Build the
shine.
foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
For real. Because I like it too, but you know,
I speak
we
to
gotta
the
wait
youth.
though.
Yeah.
You know, we been wearing gold. Look at Mansa Musa. Gold up, dripped up. That's what I'm saying. Like we just we been doing this. Like it's just been the way we doing it now. It's just been in an ignorant way. So we bringing it back like righteous with moral principles. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, see, bro, we got on chain. Well, this ain't real, but you know it's gonna get real. But like, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, we want to express that too. Like, yeah, like fly jewelry, fly righteous jewelry, fly attire, but like just righteous. You know what I'm saying? In a good way. And one of the reasons why, to add on to the gold backs, the reason why like I felt like so in love with them, because just on a simple level, like, all right, $1 gold back, like a $1 tender note is worth $7 in USD. So that should show you right there, like that the value of gold on a simple level is more than $1. So $1 USD is just $1.
Right.
But it costs you $7 to buy a $1 gold back. So you see what I'm saying? So it show you like you done 7x. You know what I'm saying?
Gold is
Your
7 times
money.
as much.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So on a simple level, like, buy you some, stack it up, you know, keep it on the side. Because, you know, it's good to invest your money and not just live paycheck to paycheck. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just, like you said, teaching financial literacy, pay yourself first. So in the long run, you can have something that you can pass down to your children. You know, that's what it's all about. And, you know, like you said, flexing assets. Like, when we was campaigning for the Flourish for a Give Back drive, like I'm on TikTok flexing the gold backs, doing the money spread. You know what I'm saying? Because like we part of the culture, but like we showing them a different way to like do it. Because like, oh, it's shining, it's glistening. What is that? Like I had a other interview a couple weeks ago. They're like, what is that? Like, I see you doing that. Like it's shining. Like what? Like yeah, it's gold backs. Go get you some. Go do your homework. Go do your research. And it's a righteous deed too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah.
You say gold back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Gold back. Yes, sir. That's tough too, cause it's like bro said, we flexing gold backs. Like we don't want to flex a debt note. Like people flexing debt. You
Debt,
flexing
right.
20,000 in debt.
Right.
So like we could flex the gold and go crazy. And like bro said, right now it's at $7 per gold back. As gold increases, the price of the gold back gonna go up. The price of the brick going up. So if gold hit 5,000, 10,000, then the price of one gold back gonna go up as well. So that's really what we pushing because it's a store value. So like especially for the youngins, there's no age restriction. You can buy gold backs right now. If you in high school, if you in middle school, you got a piggy bank. You can tell your parents go get you some gold back.
That's easier buying than stocks, for real. Because with stocks, you gotta have somebody set you up an account. You gotta be 18. Go nope. You just gotta have a credit card.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you making some money, selling some school candy or something. Go take that school candy money. Go, buy you a pair of shoes, whatever, but then go put you some money into the gold backs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have long-term vision. Like, I don't want to die young. I want to live long to see my fruit spare. You know what I'm saying? So, in that, I think long-term, I'm not rushing. Like, we talk about that all the time. Like, that's why I'm so locked in with bro, because it's like, I want this to be long-term. You know what I'm saying? So, I ain't tripping on about fast success. We gonna get there. So just stay patient.
I think that's a key, to be patient and take your time. And that's showing a lot of wisdom, right? Because so many times we be in a rush to get there. But, if we take the right steps, we're going to get there. And time, time is precious, but at the same time, we know sometimes if we rush, we might make a mistake here or there. So I just think that, taking our time and making sure we put everything in order to build, because see, we built before and it was destroyed, right? So that's why consciously we have to be a little bit more conscious about what we're doing, like the brother was saying, as far as how the armed security guards, right? It's discouraged any type of misbehavior, you know, and I think that that's why the warrior spirit is so important, to have that warrior spirit spiritually, mentally, and physically, and be trained. We have to be trained. We have to be taught, and we have to be trained to go. As a man, we have to be taught and trained to protect our families, our women, our children, our community, each other, right? And I don't think that because of our fear of what's going to happen to us, or our fear that happened to some of our ancestors, it should stop us, because our ancestors were fearless, right? It was just they went up against superior weaponry, right? And I think that, even from a scientific perspective, if you look at what the wicked Western scientists do as far as building nuclear weapons and things of that nature for mass destruction, at some point, we're going to have to really understand that in order to really compete and fight this enemy, that we're going to have the same thing. And the most important weapon that we can have is our mind.
Yeah.
Sure,
I like what you were saying, man. Like we big on that, like just the mentality of, like, I say a general. You know what I'm saying? So like my father unintentionally like raised me up to be a general.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like he wasn't like, but like due to him teaching me about Malcolm X and all this other stuff, like my mind is on, you know what I'm saying? Right. So just I want to put that into, because when you think like a general, you think more calculated. You not, because they expect us to be reactive and just woo wow. Like you got to be calm, cool, collected, and know when to strike when possible. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's an elevated approach from the ancestors too. Like not, knowing when and when not. You know what I'm saying? Knowing when to speak, knowing when to, you know what I'm saying? Still knowing that, like, because once you see you judge the people by their fruits. So you don't get confused when, like, you not going to confuse nobody because your actions so different. You know what I'm saying? But we got to take an elevator approach and learn not to speak as much and just go in the shadows and work and do the work and bring it out to the public. So like that's an elevator approach. That's a general approach. Like we build on that all the time. So some good books to like train your mind, because you got to, like you said, that's why I want to talk about this, because to train your mind you have to feed it the right stuff. So like I'm doing a mental training right now where I'm listening to the audiobook of Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, which is a great book. Mastery by Robert Greene. The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-U-C-K by I forgot the author, but that's the title of the book. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. What else? There's another book. Oh, in the Book of Proverbs, you know what I'm saying? And in those books, I played on 1.75 speed, And while I'm at work, I'm listening to it. And I'm doing it where I'm going to listen to it 3 times. Each book 3 times to really sit and digest. To really change my mind. Because those books confront yourself and make you think different and just expose you to different ways of, using your mind and training your mind to believe in yourself, for one. Have the confidence, because they try to take the black man confidence so much. So to have the confidence to be able to be a general, you have to. That's the foundation of training your mind, and the spiritual part of it too. So wherever you are, Christian, Muslim, you just free. Like you gotta read the text. You gotta read the scriptures, Book of Proverbs. Tap into the Quran. Listen to some of Egypt's teachings, before it got corrupted. You know what I'm saying? And really train your spirit to be aligned with moral principles and values. So and then when you go out here, now you balance. Now you really a warrior, because you're not just out here just smacking around. You're not just running down. Because we got warriors, but they just reckless. You're not a reckless. You calculated. Like, you know what I'm saying? You pay attention to our opposition. They calculated. You know what I'm saying? They not running around screaming. They not telling everybody they playing. When they drop a policy, they just drop it. They not telling you, oh, we about to cook up this policy. No, they just drop it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a strategy we got to recognize. Like, all right, like, just be quiet sometimes. Like, when we politic, and just keep it between the circles.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you watch The Godfather, like, they had meetings, in the back room between us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that same principle got to be instilled in our communities too. You know what I'm saying? Learning from the mistakes of the elders, but not from like, oh, dang. No, just like, that's what your mistake was. We gonna grow from that, because somebody gonna grow from our mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So it's a continuing evolution. But like I said, to get your mind right, the books that I'm listening to right now, The Mental, is Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Joseph Murphy, Mastery by Robert Greene, The 50th Law by 50 Cent, Robert Greene, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, and The Book of Proverbs. Them books alone, I ran through them books in a weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's immediately gonna change you to a more disciplined way of thinking.
Yes, indeed.
But go ahead, sir.
Now, well, you said something interesting earlier about the way you listen to those books at 1.75 speed.
Yeah,
So for selfish reasons, you're gonna have to give me an elaboration on that
Okay.
one. But if you want to do it now,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'll explain that. The reason why I do put it on 1.75 speed is because, like I said, we in the age, we gotta recognize what we have. Why would I sit and read a book that might take me a month when I can read a book that'll take me a day? If I put on 1.75 speed, and it forces you to listen, because it's like you can it's not like blah 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 blah, like it's just a little bit more faster. Like I said, you go through a 7-hour book in 3 hours. So now I cut my time by using modern way technology to to advance my mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. I said I ran through those books in a week. You know what I'm saying? And really, I didn't listen to them every day. I just listened to them the days that I worked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it already, got my wheels turned. Now, you're not going to catch everything. That's why I'm going back and re-listening to them.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's planted in your subconscious. So your subconscious is the part of your mind that you don't really see. That's why it's the sub. So now it's already working. I'm just training it. The fact that I even listen to it is planting new seeds. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I promote reading, put on 1.75 speed. Because for me, it excites me because I know I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, damn, I'm going to go through these books. But I'm listening to, like, all right. Like I said, a 7-hour book, I get through it in 3 hours. A 3-hour book, an hour and a half. That's efficient.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Is. I don't want to show too much.
And shout out to him. He put me on that method. For real.
I don't want to show too much of my ignorance, but y'all gonna have to show me how to change the speeds for me to be able to. But you mentioned a couple times, about some of the jewels and gems your father dropped on you.
Yeah.
I got a youth. I try to keep my boy with me as much as possible. Drop gems on him every chance I get. But what responsibilities do elders carry in guiding this rebirth now?
Man, first off, I want to say shout out to every elder in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because they really raised me into being who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm big on just like family. Yeah, you know, it ain't perfect, but it's full of purpose. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my father, my grandfather, cousins, uncles, you know, just anybody that just pours something into me. That's the village mentality. And I think to answer your question, just caring. Just knowing that, like, all right, you the future. Yeah. So whatever that I got to offer, I'm going to give it to you for your best interest. And that's it. It's really that simple.
Yeah, it really is. That's all we really need from the elders, bro. We just need to feel like we support. Oh, my bad. We really want to feel like we're supported and we cared about and we can exchange the information because we need y'all just as much as y'all need us. Like, it's a vehicle. So if we can work together, then we're going to be smooth. Because, like, growing up, I didn't really have much guidance for real. Like, I didn't grow up with grandfathers. Like, we really didn't have uncles and cousins that was, like, close. Like, all my people was locked up. So, like, I learned stuff from my dad, but my pops didn't teach me stuff by verbally. He taught me how to move, about how he moves. So, I had to learn through observation. But it's cool to have elders and people that can instill verbal wisdom here and there, too. And like, basically, like, just show, like, the community collective, like bro said, because a lot of people I knew growing up, like, they telling you to go do something else, like, not telling you to go do nothing righteous, they leading us to the destruction for real.
Yeah, that's something that I experienced too. That's why I said pros and cons, but, you know, they poured into me though. But, you know, like, moving forward, I think we just gotta just be more open, you know, just be more open. You know, me just learning that, you know, some things just wasn't as open, you know, and sharing. When I shared certain things, it was, but I had to learn that they don't know no better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I had to heal from too, and forgive me so I could forgive them. You know what I'm saying? Because they just honestly just don't know. That goes back to the compassion thing that I said earlier.
And understanding.
And understanding.
And the adjective you used just a second ago, caring. Just for them to care, right? Because a lot of the elders might be afraid of the youth for whatever reason. You know, just don't care enough, or you know, they just criticizing too much maybe instead of trying to help or come with some solutions or whatever. And I want to spin back real quick. Brother mentioned earlier something about spirituality, so I just want to, you know, for my own I want to know, how do African spiritual traditions contribute in rebuilding the black mind?
Word. Before I segue into this, I want to shout out my pops too real quick. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that. Yeah, that was pops real well. Like, I ain't had no male figure like that ever got me. Like, my pops really did it, and he did it without even talking. So like, he kind of showed me how to move and not even talk, but let it be observed. So shout out pops, man.
Shout out pops.
But African spirituality, I feel like really all these like spiritual is the foundation of everything. It's the essence. It's like the first and foremost of everything going on. So we have to be grounded in the spirituality. Like, if you don't know much, then it's cool to learn. Like, one thing I've learned about diving into the different degrees of knowledge is no matter if it's African spirituality, Hebrewism, Islam, even Hinduism and Vedic stuff, all the teachings say the same thing.
Yes.
They say the same thing.
Yes.
So it's important to, like, really hone in on what they're saying, like, not get the messages confused, but look at the bigger picture. Because a lot of people like to argue over certain doctrines and stuff, but if you read all of the texts, they say the same thing. So we can, like, unify through that as well. Like Christian and somebody that's Islam, they should be able to dap hands because both of their books saying the same thing. Like, even with the African spirituality, like, if we look at the hierarchy of, like, the creator and what the creator is and what Mother Nature is, it's all saying the same thing. So when we tap into that aspect of things, we're able to move at a faster rate because we're working with the spiritual essence of all things.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. I want to give a shout out to my girl too, cause she Christian, and I'm Muslim. I just took my shahada a month ago, and we can come together. You know what I'm saying, and build. Like, she look at me like a man with a godly man. A man that has the God essence in him, and I look at her that has the God essence in her. You know what I'm saying? So we can come together and exchange through different perspectives. But I also want to add on to his point. I think when you study, I don't even like the term religion, honestly, because I'm big on just spiritual. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I don't really religion causes division. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on just spiritual. So when you study the text, you have to understand it from a historical approach too, and realize a lot of them was passed down and elevated. So like when he said Christians and Muslims should be able to dap up, it's because even in the Quran they tell you the prophets of the Bible, from Aaron to Jesus, Moses, they talk about all of them. So it's like, why are we arguing? You know what I'm saying? Like what are we arguing about? It's just like the Bible came, Jesus came, the Quran came, Muhammad came. You know what I'm saying? Before them, it was other people that came, other humans that came. You know what I'm saying? I think we look at it like that too. Like, I look at everybody who had a revelation or put a message as a human. You know what I'm saying? That's my perspective, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a human, when you look at them as a human, then you can look at them like God sent humans down to prophets down to help you remember who you are. So God sent Jesus as a mirror to help you remember. God sent Muhammad down as a mirror to help you build discipline, to get you back on the structure. But so when you look at it from like that perspective and not, oh, this is my God, this is your God, that just throws everybody off. But when you can say like, oh, God sent all these people down, this is how you flourish, this is how I flourish, now we flourish together. You know what I'm saying? That's the continuation aspect of it. But you gotta be brave enough to read other things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You have to be brave enough to read other things and you have to be brave enough to read other things and take a piece of it and align it with what you have. You know what I'm saying? That's the right approach to it. So if you just, whatever you use to make yourself a better person, I respect it.
Facts.
You kind of answer. I wanted to ask one more question under that, but you answered it already. Just how to balance modern faith systems with the ancestral traditions, and you hit it around the head. Yes.
Because I think it's important, right? Because history is really important, right? And many of our brothers and sisters practice different religions, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, African traditions, right? But the foundation, of all spiritual systems and religious systems is Africa. We're very spiritual people, right? And I think that, when we don't let that come between us is when we are at our best. Like the brother said, regardless of the religion, when we all come together on the fact that we are a melanated people, we are African people, we are black people, right? And so basically we had the same uniform on. So, and we often use, examples like when the police stop us, they don't ask us if we Christian, Islam, or whatever, right? They just looking at us as being black people. So I think that's how we should look at each other.
Yeah, right.
Like
real.
the same way they look at us,
For
as that
real.
we're black people.
They don't
And we
care.
can't be divided. We can't let nothing divide us. Right, because I respect my whole family just about as Christians. Love them to death. And since we shouting out, shout out to mom, shout out to dad, shout out to
Shout
all
out
my
my
family
dude.
and
Shout out
friends.
Duke.
Indeed.
The matriarch.
And
Sister.
the matriarchs, right, the queens. All of these things are important, right? Because if we see a elderly black woman, we're going to help her if she needs help. We're not going to ask what's her religion.
Exactly.
Because it shouldn't
You a
matter.
peon if
If,
you-
if we
yeah.
all say that we are about doing the work of the Creator, God, serving the Creator, right, serving humanity, it's not going to matter how somebody chooses to worship, or their practices. I just think that, when we're dealing with Maya, truth, justice, and righteousness, we're on the right path.
That's real.
Right.
And that's something I had to learn because I ain't gonna lie, like shoot. When I was getting all this stuff, I'm like, oh, this is the but the more I'm learning, I'm reading the text and studying to show myself approval. I'm like, bro, everything connected. Like, what am I tripping over? Like, I'm throwing the stone the whole time. Like, theirs is helping amplify my faith in what I'm already foundationally like accurate on. So it's like, all right, cool. You learn to like work with everything and become the grand architect.
Ooh,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. But my foundation for Nation and Gods and Earth too. And
Okay, peace, God.
I travel so many peace, Allah. I travel so many roles since then, right? And once I start learning this comedic science, I start, it don't stop because knowledge is infinite. I start learning this comedic science and I'm steady reading these books. I'm like, yo, all of it is telling me the same thing. It's all saying the same thing. So and some of my favorite books right now is Buddhist books. Yeah, so Buddhism, and that's pretty much because it just deals with the mind so much. It's about a lot of meditation and a lot of just balancing life, and the noble son Nelson from Elder Morris Holy Quran, Noble Jew Ali says, you got to hire yourself in the lower self. And you ask me what to study, I tell you to study yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you come back and ask me again what to study, I tell you to study yourself. So, as we look forward, the question remains, how do we finish the work of our ancestors, the work that our ancestors began and passed the torch forward?
Before they touch on that, I want to just throw this out there, right?
Yeah.
Because the question is, how do we finish the work that our ancestors started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like to make this comment, right? And that is, this is the symbol for eternal life, the right? So there's never a finish. We have to always continue the work, right? Because, we had built ourselves up, in Africa, Kemet, and all other places, for a long time. And we were able to sustain it for thousands and thousands of years. But then the invasions came. So we had to be, like the brothers had spoke on earlier, vigilant, right? Like Ampu, the jackal, always on duty by day and by night, right? So even when we do gain our liberation and power, we can't let up, right? Because we have to remember history. And we take a page, and there ain't nothing wrong with taking a page out of other people's books. We take a page out of the Jews' book, right? Because what they say, never again, right? And never forget, right? And that's the same approach that we have to take. Of course, we haven't received any reparations. We haven't received, anything because they want to keep their foot on our neck. But we don't expect them to give us nothing because we're going to take everything we need, just like what they're doing over there in Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and a lot of other countries, right? We're gaining our independence, gaining our liberation, right? So I think that it's just, important in moving forward for us to stay focused and understand that there is no end. It's eternal life.
Yeah.
I say, man, like I agree. Like my father's house has many mansions. As soon as we finish building this back up, liberating, we going to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We always gonna be building, man. That's just our nature. So like, I'm just grateful to be a part of this journey. Like, I'm grateful to have brothers amongst me that we can politic and contribute and break bread with one another. You know what I'm saying? No matter what type of bread we breaking, it could be sourdough, whole wheat.
Right,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right,
We
that's
still
right.
breaking that bread. That's what it's about for real. And I think that is the work, really.
Yeah, I think just like what they said, what everybody's saying is just unity, man. Like just unity. Like looking at, because we're not gonna agree with everything. Something like we don't agree on some things, but like I can look above that and be
That's
like,
right.
what do I agree with?
That's
All right,
right,
what's the
bro.
commonality?
Yes.
And on a simple level, this is a brother. You know what I'm saying? He fighting the same battle I'm fighting. He cares about the people. As long as I can see you got a heart for the people, you good with me.
Yes.
And your actions show that. I don't care. Like, we good. As long as you keep moving righteous, we good. I think people need to have that approach. Like you said, then argue, debate later. You can go back into your corner. But when we come together, like what needs to be addressed right now? I think when we talking about group thinking and just understanding like attacking problems, all right, what needs to be addressed right now? Like I said, all right, literacy rate is low. All right, let's go come together and go help children read. That's a simple. I think we got to get back to a simple based approach. That's why the civil rights movement was so impactful, because they were solving a simple problem. And look how many people they got on their wavelength. You know what I'm saying? Like, simplicity is the way. Breaking things down until, like, all right, because once we get the reading down, all right, now kids can read. All right, then you give them this book. Here you go. You think you gotta do things in stages. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we gotta come together and be like, all right, what needs to be addressed right now? Low literacy rates, violence in the community. How can we solve that? How can we take a piece of what we all have and create a tangible product that is digestible for the community? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what I'll say.
Right. And if I could add to that, he was talking about literacy, right? And I was doing some studying this past week on Kwame Ture, and he was talking about the different areas that we have to focus on, like education, healthcare, economics. And he said that basically each one of those is like a battlefront, right? A battleground, right? And like the brother said, he keep calling it a war, and we always call it a war. It is a war. And like it's simple, and we do it at KCSSU where we partner with Shaw University for the literacy program. Right? If you give the children the right attention with the right instructions, right, they're going to be capable and they're going to be able to read, just like we're able to read, right? And we've seen that with our own eyes. But what's even more important, I ain't going to say more important, just as important as literacy and learning how to read is what are you reading? And that's why you have to take your hats off to these brothers for the type of books that they was passing out to the youth. Just don't give them something about Spot the dog and a cat
in the hat.
Come on, give them something that's going to strengthen their mind, strengthen their consciousness. Because consciousness is everything, right? Because consciousness, once we raise our level of consciousness, we can see things for what they are, and our minds become lucid. And then that's how we know how to address, the issues and solve the problems in our community so that we can have true liberation and true power. So it's really like I, stated earlier, education for liberation. And literacy is very important. And just as important as that is making sure that we give our children the right material to read and that we put the right thoughts and give them the right teachings so that they can, digest it, process it, analyze it, and realize how it strengthens and empowers us as a people. Group consciousness. Group consciousness has got to be the key. Because once we can raise our level and we're operating as a group, as a conscious group, we can't be stopped.
For sure. I want to add on to that real quick since we talking war talk, right? So during the China Communist Party and throughout the Russian-Ukraine wars, the first thing that they targeted was the education. So they was feeding the Russians books on their political parties, their ideologies, their philosophies that basically combat against why they should be divided from Ukraine or why they don't like Ukraine and stuff like that. The same thing with China. China had implemented the books in their education to form their mind to think a certain way. That's why they might not like this country or this country, because it was all education and propaganda. So we could do the same thing, reverse engineer it, put the right education out, and use that same play because it worked. Look at China, look at Russia, look at all these conglomerates. It worked. So since we know that worked, we could do the same thing, reverse engineer, feed our people the books that they need, and next thing you know, we next up.
Right.
And I want to add on to that. And another thing that we have to do is pour into our women, raise our black women, because a lot of over there and do y'all remember that story of Malala? The one over there where the Taliban's be at, when she was a 15. This happened back in 2012. She won a Nobel Peace Prize, but she had spoke up against the Taliban because the Taliban were basically controlling the women. They weren't getting the right educational rights because they understood that if you control the women, you control the village. So she was speaking up against that. And she was 15 years old. This is a 15-year-old girl at the time. Right. She's our age now, but she was at the time she was 15, speaking up against the Taliban on that. And she spoke up against that, and they shot her in the face. Wow. You know what I'm saying? She survived, and she was still putting belt on them, putting on them. So I share that story to say that we really, as we keep talking about rebuilding, we have to love, protect, and really heal our black women.
Yes,
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
all for that, bro.
Yes,
let's give a quick clap for all the black women, bro. We love y'all for real. No matter what the media saying, no matter what they saying, we love y'all queens for real.
Yes, indeed.
Don't let it get misconstrued.
Yeah,
hey, that's the unification right there.
Right.
Yes,
right.
indeed, brother.
I like that. I've been going through it with a black woman.
But I mean, well, when you think about it, the problems a lot of times are being engineered, between the black man and the black woman. And it's been a lot of, I know y'all see it on social media. I see it where there's a lot of division, right? And then we can't let the enemy win with that propaganda. I'm glad you keep using that word, Brother Don, because that's exactly what it is. But see, the good thing about propaganda, like when he stated we can put out our own propaganda, propaganda can be either good or bad. We're going to use propaganda for good, right? To uplift our brothers and sisters and inspire. And like he said, our women. Now, we know as black men, we catch hell over here. But our women catch just as much hell because so many times they are left to raise our children by themselves for one reason or another, right? So that causes a friction.
Right.
So we have to be intentional and deliberate about mending fences and understanding what the ARC really stands for, the unification of the black family. Man, woman, and child. Father, mother, and child. Right. And I think that, it was back in, the late 60s, early 70s when they really started planning the destruction. Because before the civil rights, the family structure was strong in the black community, in the African American community, right? But once they came with the civil rights, they had to figure out a way to weaken the family structure, and they did that with a lot of the things they do as far as public housing, things of that nature. Right. And I would never understand why we are the only people where they seek to take the man out of the house. It's encouraged for the black woman not to have a man in the house. You don't see that in the European communities. You don't see that in the Asian communities. You don't see that in the Mexicans, Latino communities, only in the black, because we are the one that they fear. And that is that the black man, black woman, and the black child.
Yeah, that is creation. Shoot. That's what they fear, the creation.
Yeah. Our boys drilled all of it on the head. I was going to ask you want to put any closing words out there, but y'all pretty much closed it good. And I want to go into I asked the brother earlier, would he share some of his creative lines, his poems or whatever. And since he said he agreed to it, I would do one also. And you want me to I'll go and then
yeah, you can go.
Yeah, then you come right behind.
Yeah.
All right. And y'all bear with me. I ain't never did this right. Look, this piece I
wait,
call
and
it.
before we go, I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but like watch out for the lingo, language. Watch out. All right, I got you.
Yeah,
I needed to know
okay,
that so
watch the language.
Yeah, I got
definitely.
you.
All right. I call this piece Halo. Perfection in life, in real time, no facade. Dwell in the spiritual realm, it's the destination of ours. Gain knowledge, so wise words and actions are sung. Predicted, blame God, he blew breath in my lungs. I stand in my square, so love and truth would bring peace. I chisel my kinks, till worldly desires are cease. Education is fashion when your heart burn with holy zeal. My nation is pure and clean, I manifest it for the thrill. Ascending in thought, body and soul would then follow. Judge man from his deeds, and not his bravado. His stability and prudence, and not his emotional sorrow. No lifeline in the wilderness, leads only himself through the horror. His flaunt of integrity, his morals and values, the things that build up his character, the tools that he used. The aura of glory, veneration, and idealized personal things. Submit your will within, never idolize for personal gain. Self-awareness, self-consciousness, self-righteous may grow from a fitted to a crown, from a crown to a halo. That's my piece.
Man, that's fire.
That's hard. That's that building
I
tone.
appreciate that.
All right, you want me to go?
Yes.
On my knees screaming, Father, forgive me, praying with passion. Hard lies and madness or baggage, even my status. Wash away these woes, acquire throne and fire. Lies taking desires, matching spiritual choirs. Cries of Hosanna singing loud. Save us now, brothers in deep drown. Mother Earth crumbling down. It's on me, follow lead, take a vow. Until death we mesh our souls with bloodhounds. Alhamdulillah. Mama, why do I suffer pain inside? Choking on my breath, weeping tests of suicide. Old me still creeping, leeching, hoping I die. Now it's river rise to Eden. Lullabies for freedom. Lord, meet us at our grave. These last days insane. Lungs full of rain, low on hope with slim faith I won't break.
All right.
Fire.
Hey, let me hop in on this real quick.
I love it.
I got something I wrote this like a couple years ago, but it's a little song. Divine math. No squares in my circle when I create. Divine mathematics I can formulate to play. Keep a tool on my waist when I navigate the space. Obtain knowledge of self and you too can be great. Like tarot, you better play your cards right. We can tap into the meditations all night. Palo with the incense just to get the auras right. Block harmful energies with the organite. We reading light codes, getting downloads. We can change the whole consciousness time zone. Real kings wear gold, not rhinestones. If you look within, then you can find home. We live in constructs. I'm just trying to ascend before the time up, but my time not finite. Live in abundance, so I'm moving with the pyrite. From gangsters to gods, you just gotta have your mind right.
Hey, that's fire.
Yeah.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Because you know my mind be over here just to working. All three of y'all brothers are incredible. But look, I would really like to, invite you two brothers, to come and hang out with me and Brother Essence with the children, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And do some things
It's
with the
time,
children.
man. And I owe you that too.
Yeah,
I owe you that.
And go over some, poetry with them. Go with some knowledge. 'Cause I think it'll be very inspirational because, last week we had a really great class where we spoke about good speech, right? And the words that come out of our mouth, how it carries frequency, energy, right? And we want to have high vibrational frequencies and energy, and everything y'all just said was high vibrational, right? So I would really, love maybe we could plan sometime, one Saturday in September or in October because it's inspiring, right? And it's showing, the talents and the gifts of you brothers and, other things that we can do. I know that y'all a few hours away in Charlotte, but with the right planning and coordination, we can definitely, come together, and do some things.
Street economics is for the children.
Yes, indeed.
It was definitely beautiful, and they're so relatable. They so, it would be perfect for them to come build with the children because they just take to y'all like y'all wouldn't even know. So family, tonight we've walked through the living blueprint of the renaissance of the black mind. From Harlem's legacy to our modern rebirth, we've seen how philosophy, economics, creativity, spirituality, and technology come together to shape our future. We give thanks to our brilliant guests, Brother Yadin Elian and Brother Don, for sharing vision, sharing truth, and we must also honor the steady guidance of our honorable brother Asar Amen. The message is clear. Our ancestors laid the foundation, and it's on us to carry the torch forward. The Renaissance is not just art, not just thought, it's liberation in motion. As we close, remember this. The future of the black mind is in our hands. Stay strong, stay united, and above all, know thyself. Love your people and walk in black power. This is Africans United, Know Thyself, Black Power Radio, where black consciousness is not just talked about, it's lived. Remember, proper education always corrects error. Hey, peace. Hey, brothers. And I know we closed out, but I still want to. I would like to see you say you got some merchant.
Oh, we still on? We still on air?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you gonna show some? Okay, indeed.
And look, and for anybody that's interested in street economics, we're an open community. So go to Street Economics _ on Instagram, and we have a Discord and everything. You can either follow us, you could join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Just immerse yourself. Like, we here for y'all.
Did you give them your email and contact information, y'all brothers?
We can get it.
You can follow me on TikTok at We Pray to Flourish. That's We Pray, the number 2, and then Flourish. Instagram, the same name. And to reinforce what he said, street econ. What's the street? Tell me the street.
The TikTok or the Instagram?
Both.
TikTok is Street Econ ECON _ and the Instagram is Street Economics, all the way spelled out with underscore.
Yeah, tap in, y'all.
Sure.
But yeah, so we can do where the camera right there. All right, this is a live presentation. Like, we talking philosophy, we talking design, we talking Renaissance. Like, this is a living product of the Renaissance, right? So this is the Chase the Vision hoodie. You know what I'm saying? It's a play off words because, Chase Bank, you know what I'm saying? It's a bank.
Okay.
Shout out Virgil because he introduced the 3% approach, where you take 3% of something and you turn it to your own design. Long live Virgil. So instead of just chasing the money, now we chasing the vision. And then we got the third eye on the middle, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Because
okay.
everything that sparks when you chasing the vision, it's the eye, right? Like the eye single, that's the true vision.
That's the understanding.
That's the
The eye of a saw.
So we open this joint up, right? Ooh, you get a receipt, you know what I'm saying? Your Street Economics account. You get an account summary, a balance, an account number, and you get a QR code that'll tap you into the Discord, which is our community. And at the bottom, we give some wisdom. Here's a tip. Vision is the only currency that appreciates with patience. Every late night, unanswered call, and unseen move is a deposit into an account no one else can access. No need to show receipts as long as you keep making daily deposits. Your balance just increased. Your value is compounding. Come back when you're ready to make another play. The Street Essentials Bank is always open for real operators. See you on the other side. Chase the vision. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how we really coming. And then, of course, the merch. We got great quality. Like, this is just one of the hoodies. This is Chase the Vision hoodie. Just the flagship hoodie. So it got the credit card on there, or the debit card, however you prefer. With, oh my fault. With the Vision. Yeah. You got the Chase the Vision. You got another QR code. You got the Street Economics. And you know what I'm saying? It's very comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We got great quality French terry cotton. Like, you could put this on right now and go outside. You'll feel amazing. Like, it's not one of them heavy hoodies. You know what I'm saying? You start sweating everything. It's like perfect material. So like what the bro was saying, like, we pushing creativity through the merch, through the different propagandas, the reels, the music, the art, the poetry. Like, we have to tackle all these areas because that's how we rebuild the culture.
Right. Indeed.
Like, designer cool, but I'm putting this on before I wear designer, like, and this group economics. Like,
I'm gonna try and see if I can get some of that before I
y'all ain't got no 3X.
walk out the door.
Oh, I got a 2X.
Oh, I need a 3. I might have to order.
Yeah, you can place the order. I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Order. Yeah, just send it to me.
And really, you ain't got to place the order. Just let me know, because I was gonna give y'all some just for allowing us to be on this opportunity. So it's no charge. Y'all good.
Well, it's my pleasure. You know, I learn something every Sunday. I'm learning something, and I learned something today from the young brothers. So it doesn't matter. Bridging the gap. That's what we're doing right now. It was beautiful. I enjoy y'all. I appreciate y'all coming through. Again, proper education always corrects error. So brothers, sisters, peace.
Peace.
Peace.